Hi guys, it's Lisa again, and this is video number 2. Okay, so it's been a busy week, and I have quite a few things to show and to talk about, and I'm just going to get right into it. So I'll start off with my FOs, and the big thing of the week is my whole story shawl, which I finally finished, and I may be titling this video the week of the frogging, and I'll sort of explain that as I go today. So I have my shawl finished. Yay, here it is. It's not blocked yet. I will block it probably this week, hopefully, and maybe next week I'll just show it to you again all blocked out, because hopefully that'll make it look even prettier, but I love it. I loved working on it, except for the last clue, which drove me crazy. And I finally, after 5 attempts of doing the last clue, I literally took it out and tried to do it again 5 different times, not exaggeration. I decided I'm not doing that, and I ended up, instead of doing the clue the way it was written, I just did a very simple garter stitch for the last, I think, 8 rows. You can see here. And then I just bound off, and you're supposed to do a different kind of bind off, and I was a little pointy. It's called an applied border bind off. I didn't really want to do that, and so I just did this, and I learned to do the stretchy bind off. I think it's a knit 2 together through the back loop, knit 1, knit 2 together through the back loop. It was a great bind off. There's a video, if I think about it, I'll hopefully try to link to it. And that's what happened. So I'm excited that's done. So I did that. Yay. Okay. The second thing I finished was a dish towel, and it's really a dish that's a little bit bigger than a dishcloth, but not quite as big as a dish towel. I've been making dish towels lately. This is just a log cabin pattern, very simple, using scrap cotton. Most of this is lilies and cream. So I did that. I also made a little case for my phone, and that is, I just needed something because I throw it in my purse, or I throw it in my knitting bag, and I just don't, sometimes it gets dirty, and I mean, it's in a case, but, so this was very simple, no pattern. I just did a chain, put it together, and just knit it in the round, or crocheted in the round. It's all single crochet. Did it as long as I needed to. Got the button, and there it is. And I like it. It's matched. You can't see my phone because I'm taping on my phone, but it matches my phone. My phone is turquoise, and it's great. I used it for the first time yesterday. Popped it in my purse, and protects it. So that was that. And then the last finished object, which actually wasn't something I finished this week, but I talked about last week, was an amigurumi, and her name is called the Tiny Damsel. And she is a character that my daughter cosplays as. If any of you there know about cosplay, she goes to conventions dressed as this character. She was in a play in a college doing this character called the Damsel. And so she asked me if I could make a doll that looked like her. And I will, if I can, try to link a picture or put a picture in with her so you could see what she looks like when she's dressed in her costume. But that is the damsel, and she's a mime, which is why she doesn't have a mouth. And I loved making this. It was so much fun. This was the one that was just one piece, and you did it as you went, and so I got it done. And she helped. She did the put the eyes in and fix the hair, and so there we go. That's the Tiny Damsel. So those are all my FOs for the week. Now back to the whole frogging thing. So I told you about my tale of woe with the shawl. So now on to my other tale of woe, which is my little baby blanket for Sissy Knitting. Hi, Kim. I have a terrible thing about trying to figure out if I have enough yarn, and I often don't know if I do or not. I don't know. I just have a hard time. So this was the yarn I started with. If any of you saw this last week, you saw that I was making this blanket out of this, which is Cascade Temptations in a DK weight. Got to the, started doing it, realized, guess what? I wasn't going to have enough. So I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't want to order more yarn. I found some online, but it would have cost more money, and I would have had to wait for it to come in. And so I ran to Joann's, and they were having a sale on baby Bernat yarns, and I found this, It was 25% off, so it wasn't that bad. And I kind of thought it went together. You know, you could see they're very similar. They sort of have that, you know, similar. And so what I ended up doing was I'm doing one row of the baby brunette, and this is in the baby pink colorway, and one row of the Temptations, and I don't have the label, so I don't remember what the colorway was for this. And here's what I got. This is what it looks like. This is how far I've gotten since I had to take the whole thing out and start over again. And it looks pretty. I'm happy with how it's coming out. I'm going to make it a little bit wider. It's probably going to be about a preemie size, I'm thinking. I think I have enough for that now. And I think it looks pretty. The colors are nice. It's very soft and squishy. And so that's that. So that's one work in progress. And the other thing that I did was I cast on my socks for Father's Day. This is for my husband. It's a secret. He's not here, so he won't see. But you know what? I knit this in front of him, and he never notices that I'm even making. So it won't be a problem. So here you go. This is my sock. It's a basic vanilla sock, cuff down. Probably do an afterthought heel, though I really, really want to try the Fish Kiss Lips heel. I do have the pattern. I've looked through it. It's a little complicated, but people say you don't have to do the whole thing. I just haven't had the time to really sit down and learn something, new that's going to take a little bit of thinking. My life is crazy busy right now, and maybe I'll explain at the end what's going on and why I just need a lot of mindless knitting right now. And so this is kind of fits the bill. So, and this is done this is Serenity sock yarn by Deborah Norville. It's from Joann's, and this is the Obsidian colorway, and I really like it. Can you see that? Yeah, I really like it. It's greens and blues and grays. It's really soft, I have to say. I know this is like a big box store yarn, but I really like it. I think it's a good quality soft yarn if you can't really afford those nice luxury sock yarns, which I love and would love to be able to get, but really can't at right now. 230 yards per skein, so you need two. These are normally $3.99 at Joann's regular price. They do have sales often, and I use my coupons. 40% off coupons, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll show you some stash enhancements in a little bit. But I like this yarn, and I think it's a really good alternative if you can't really afford that nice, expensive sock yarn. So that's that. That's my other whip. Those are the only two things I've been working on this week. I have a couple of other things I showed you last week. I haven't done anything with them. So that's that. So now for my stash enhancement. Okay, so I told you last week I had a gift certificate left over, so I went for Mother's Day and I got my mini mochi. Well, I also had a credit from a really nice yarn store not too far from here from a really long time ago that I happened to find when I was doing some cleaning. And I went to the store the other day because I was hoping they would honor the credit, and I had enough on the store credit to get this skein of, talking about luxury yarns, my first ever Madeline Tosh. So this is Tosh, and it's Tosh Merino Light in the Mare, M-A-R-E colorway. Oh my God, it's gorgeous. It's blacks and blues and browns, and I don't know if you can really see it. I don't know if this is doing it justice, but it is gorgeous. Soft and squishy. Okay, so what am I going to do with this? That's sort of the up-and-coming part of the show, and I'll get back to that in a minute. Okay, talking about Joann's, I had some 40% off coupons, and I'm just wanting to get more sock yarn. And so, since I can't afford the good stuff, I went back with my coupons, and I got some more of the Serenity, which, like I said, I love. It's very soft, it's squishy. 230 yards, I got two skeins. This is the chili colorway. This is chili. And it's got some like mauve colors, olive green, off-white, a little bit of speckly blue. Really pretty. And I used my 40% off. I had two 40% off coupons. So I got these for $2.40 each. $5 for the two. Yay. Good deal. Okay, so that's pretty much, oh, even this is not a stash enhancement. This is sort of a tool tip. Just going to try to do a little bit of maybe once a week or however often. I have some little tips, especially, using different things that people may not know, or have different, price, different ideas about. So, sorry, I'm a little distracted here. These are little ponytail holders. I got it at the dollar store. $1 for this bag, 300 of them. And I'm going to show you. I'm not going to open this. Sorry about the crinkling. I don't know. Oh, you slipped. Sorry about the crinkling. I don't know if that was annoying or not. Okay, so here we go. This is one, and this is what I use it for. This is one of the things I use it for. So, when you want to keep your work on your needles, you twist it around a few times, you stick it on there, and then you can throw it in your bag, and your yarn doesn't come off in your bag. So that's one of the things I use it most for. It can also be used for stitch markers. They're small. These ones are small enough that, especially if you're using a bigger needle and you need a bigger stitch marker, if you're doing a 13 or a 15 or something, these work great for that. So that's my tip of the week. Cheap $1. Okay. So up and coming. Okay. Shawls. I'm just so in love with shawls lately, and since I finished my whole story shawl, I'm going to cast on another shawl. I have like so many in my library. I keep finding more that I want to do, and I'm not sure. I haven't been able to pick them out, but that's what I'm definitely wanting to cast on. I have two possible, I say two now, but that I've narrowed it down to maybe for this, the Age of Brass and Steam shawl, which I've been wanting to make for a really long time, or the Halden Shawelette. Those are the two top contenders right now. And I'm not sure yet. So I may actually been thinking about putting a list of all the shawls I want to make into a hat and literally just pulling one out and saying that's the one I'm going to cast on next. So that's what I might do. I don't know. But maybe by next week I'll know what I'm doing with that, or with whatever next shawl project, because I also have this other yarn that I was going to show you, and it's not a new enhancement. It's something I've had for a while, and believe it or not, this is from Big Lots, and it feels like a cotton. It's one of their gala ones, and if anybody's familiar with Big Lots, they do like the remnants, and so you never really know what it is. It's a fingering weight, because I did the test, how many wraps per inch, and it comes out about 20 to 22, which is that fingering weight yarn. And it's white. It's very soft. And I'm really wanting to do a shawl. I have 3, and I could get more because they always have this there, I've noticed. At least my Big Lots has a bunch of them. So if I needed more, I could always add more. And so that's a possibility. And there was a shawl that was on the, is free for now because it's sort of in the test pattern stage, which I know Sissy Knitting was talking about those test patterns, and sometimes you do end up with mistakes. I don't know if I can find it. Let me see. Sorry. Let me see if I can find it. But it's a really nice thing. It's sort of a sampler in a way. It's 3 different stitch patterns, lace. There, it's called the Random Monet Shawelette. And I don't know. I'm hoping you'll be able to see this. Let me see if I can get it. Yeah, there it is. Let's see if I can make it big enough. I don't know if you can see that. Sort of, maybe. Yeah, probably not. But it's called the Random Monet Shawelette by Pam Jamelian, and she's at Wing Shadow Wraps. And basically, there's 3 different inserts that you do. It's garter stitch, and then 3 different inserts that you can do as many of or as little of as you want as you're going through the scarf. And you start small and then you increase. So that's a possibility for this. I looked at that and I thought that would really be pretty in white. So I think that's all. I'm not, like I said, I'm not sure about the shawls. Hopefully I'll have a better idea. I do need some mindless knitting. We're having big changes in our life coming up. We're in the process of moving into an RV, and we just found out we actually have work out in South Dakota at Mount Rushmore, which we're going to be heading out there in a couple weeks. So needless to say, it's very busy. We're having a yard sale this weekend, trying to get rid of as much stuff as we can, and then we're packing up and going. and it's going to be an adventure, something very different and new. So because of that, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do any complicated knitting, but I do need my knitting and my crocheting because I need something to keep me calm. Okay, this video is way too long. Now it's over. It's 15 minutes and I was going to try to do less. So I will see you again next time. Thanks for coming back. Bye.